really knew you had him, I think, at that point, don't you?
Well,
it wouldn't go much longer.
I told him it's all Rumbo business today. There's no messing around. It's all ragamuffin stuff, you know?
Tell you what, man, non-stop. 20th of April, Devin lost a 12-rounder to Ryan Garcia. Floored 3 times. Took a lot of punishment. But the WBC have ordered a purse bid for Devin to defend that title against Sandor Martin from Spain. June the 18th, the purse bid, I'm going to imagine August, September is when it might be scheduled for. Is it too soon for Devin to get back in the ring? From a psychological and physical standpoint, he might not want to give up the belt. I'm guessing, you know, he's got a few weeks to think about what the next move is, but what would it be? My opinion, he needs a lighter touch than that if he's going to fight this year. A way lighter touch than Sandor Martin. It's more important that he comes back correctly than try and defend his belt for pride's sake. HEARN spoke to Devin and he says Devin's not good. He said he wasn't good in the first place. He wants a disqualification. Boxing News 24, they're trying to say that getting the decision overturned and taking the loss of Devin's record won't help Devin. We all saw what happened in the ring. Well, I disagree with that because boxers are protective of their records and their accomplishments. And if it helps Devin a little psychologically to know that he's got some justice from Ryan's indiscretions, then that's what Devin wants. And if he can get that, he believes it will help him. It might not help Boxing News 24, but they're not going in the ring.
We did 5,000 tickets on the pre-sale yesterday. We're already smashing the sales today. I think this place is going to be full up.
Just watched the press conference for Boots versus Crowley. Pre-sales 5,000, 4,500. But Eddie's a salesman, he's a promoter, so he's going to overinflate it. But 9 weeks to the event. You know, if they can get 15 in there, great atmosphere. And obviously, Boots has got to perform. But Cody, he's a bit of an oddball. And that's not me trying to be funny or anything. You know, he doesn't talk like a fighter. He's very open with his emotions. His dad committing suicide. Him feeling like committing suicide. Looks like a bit of a loner or an outcast. Not much of a banger. But that don't mean he can't give Boots a few issues. He's not coming there just to roll over. I watched him fight on the PBC a couple of times and there was one fight he had. I'm sure he was an underdog. And he pulled off the upset. I do remember that. He was aggressive. He had a high work rate. But not much of a defense. And Boots should light this guy up. Looked like Bozy, Boots' dad, was going to get into it with Cody's trainer. Cody's trainer called Boots an email champion. Bozy didn't like that one bit. Good to see Boots, spirits up, headlining.
Man, I remember the first meeting I had in Las Vegas. It was on Canelo, Danny Jacobs fight week. Someone said we had a chance to get Boots Ennis. And recently, we of course made the huge announcement that Ennis would be signing with Matchroom Boxing and DAZN. Now, finally, he's going to get let off his leash to show the world how great he is. But the most important thing for me was to bring him home to Philadelphia, and we made it happen. But you know the great thing, and I shouldn't really say this, sometimes I go to a city and I tell a little bit of a porky pie. That's a lie in the UK, right? And I say, this kid, oh, he's going to be a world champion. Oh, he could be a great. Oh, he could be this. That's my job. But you see, when you have a fighter like Ennis, I'm not even lying. So now the whole city can say, not only are we bringing big-time world championship boxing back to Philadelphia, but we're doing it with a young man that may be the very best in the entire sport.
Eddie really trying to sell this, bro. But after that big build-up, anything less than a successful defense, a clean job, is going to be very anticlimactic. Let's keep it real. Because that's a big build-up, Eddie. A big build-up. Might be the best in the sport. That's a big claim.
Could you see yourself, one, potentially working with Canelo again? And although I know you mentioned Bud Boots being a potential fight down the line, Bud has shown a lot of interest in wanting to fight Canelo. What do you think about that as potentially being something that could happen down the line?
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, right now, the only fighter in the mix I have, well, 2 fighters under contract for that is Edgar Berlanga, who's a mandatory with the WBA, Dimitri Bivol, who obviously has the victory over Canelo Alvarez. The most important thing for me, I mean, unselfishly, is to make sure that DAZN continue airing Canelo Alvarez fights, which they do a great job of doing. And, you know, they had a very successful time with a Munguia fight, which was on DAZN and also Amazon as well. Not speaking on Canelo's behalf because I don't represent him. I don't think he's overly interested in the Terence Crawford fight because I think he'll be thinking, I'm not going to get any credit for beating Terence Crawford. He's a 147 pounder who's just moved to 154. You're asking him to move up to 168 and fight a guy that's going to massively outsize him. And also, at this stage in Canelo Alvarez's career, stylistically, I'm not sure he wants to fight a mover that he's going to be chasing around the ring. And I think that was the case when he boxed Charlo. I don't think he enjoyed that fight. I think he enjoyed the Munguia fight because it was a young, big super middleweight coming to win. I think he'd have the same kind of enjoyment out of an Edgar Berlanga fight. But money talks. I mean, you know, the one thing you know about Saul is he is all about the money. And what I love about him is he don't try and hide it. Do you know what I mean?
He said he or DAZN want to keep him on the platform regardless of what, even though he's currently contracted to the PBC. Now, let's say if he was to fight a 168 pounder on the PBC, they might not need DAZN to sell it. They might just go solo. And then what? Sounded like he had Canelo in witness protection, saving him for DAZN fighters only. What credit was Canelo worried about getting when he beat up an undersized, already knocked out how many times in his career Amir Khan? Why, what credit would he get for beating Edgar Berlanga? Didn't Jamel come up from 154 when he fought Canelo? So Crawford looks really good against Madrimov. Is Eddie trying to say us that he isn't in the sweepstakes to fight Canelo? I didn't like what he said there, I'll be honest with you. And then backing up Canelo, it's reasonable to ask for 200 million for a fight with David Benavidez. Not with what you said there at all. And then comparing what Crawford could potentially do against Canelo, comparing that to what Charlo did. But here's the flip though, yeah? He won't have no objections of Terence Crawford fighting Boots when he's trying to build Boots into a superstar. But to protect Canelo, they'll avoid Crawford at all costs. If they try and make that fight, Boots versus Crawford, Crawford needs to take DAZN for all the money he can get. Let's keep it real. Good thing Turki Al-Sheikh is handling the budget. And from what I'm hearing, if Crawford looks good against Madrimov, he's going to push for the Canelo fight. Yeah? Whether Eddie wants that to happen or not. Let Edgar Berlanga go fight Caleb Plant. That's a good fight for him.
Everybody has attacked me, and many of the press here can be a living testimony to it. They have castigated me. They have burned me on the oils. This is the second or third time he's threatened my life.
Don must be thinking he's just too old for this. I mean, Adrian Broner pissing Don off now. Don has signed up BLAIR COBBS, former Golden Boy welterweight, and they're scheduled to fight in Florida in June. But Broner missed a press conference for his fight with Bill Hutchinson, and then he withdrew from a December fight against Chris Howard, which led Don King, who was always good for a quip, on a fight poster where Noel Gerver, I can't pronounce his current surname, I know it was Noel Gerver, he fights Ryan Rozicki, the Canadian, for the WBC Cruiserweight belt. That's the main event. And in the corner of the poster you see Broner versus COBBS, and it says, if Broner turns up. Oh dear. Broner's left Kevin Cunningham, and I believe he's training with Calvin Ford and Tank. Okay.
Y'all got me fucked up. They don't think I'ma show up? That's what they fly said. I'ma do more to show up. I'ma show up with a big ass hole in the back of my shorts. I'ma show my ass. That's what I'ma do. No homo. No diddy.
I tell you what, yeah. Broner's dysfunctional, but he's funny. He says he's gonna show up, but I wouldn't bet any money on that personally.
Yo, nigga talking to me like that.
Hey, I like it. Hey, Connor, when we gonna see you on that big stage again?
Listen, I'll come over there and fight your boy, no problem. Just give me the date and I'm there.
Bro, you will not do it, bro. You suck.
Well, you want to come up to 147? You think you stand a chance against me? I would absolutely knock you. I would knock you, spark out. I would knock you.
I'm gonna beat you and Eddie Hearn and the same night. I don't like you or Eddie Hearn. I don't like you or Eddie Hearn.
Cabrón.
La raza. You
No
don't
voy a
know
hacer
shit
para la
about
raza,
la
cabrón.
raza. You're an idiot.
No, you're an idiot, mate. You can't even
You're
speak fucking
literally an
Spanish, and
idiot,
that's
bro.
your
When I
language.
look at you, I see
You can't
idiot.
even speak Spanish, and that's your language, mate.
Hola, ¿cómo estás, cabrón? Suck my pito. Chupa mi pito. Chupa mi pito, cabrón.
Listen, you're coming with
Chupa mi
small dick
pito,
energy.
cabrón.
That's small
Chupa
dick
mi
energy.
pito, cabrón.
Small dick energy. That's what that is.
You did it with this one.
Hey, ask your girl how my dick tastes. How about that? My shit's
Well,
huge, bro.
that's
Your
so
girl was
shit. Don't fuck with
crying.
people like
Your
you.
girl was crying for my dick.
Don't fuck with people like you, bro.
What?
That's it, period.
Ever.
I'll come over
God
there
is
safe, son.
ass.
Give you a good
God
ass
is
beating.
ass.
I'll come over there, give you an ass beating. That's what I'm gonna do.
At least Conor knocked that Algerian for you, Ryan.
That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do.
Are you?
Yeah, that's enough of that. Little pull up by Conor on social media. The two went at it. What's up with Ryan recently? I've noticed he likes talking about
OPP. How can I explain it?
other people's panani. Did the same to Spence, didn't it? I think Spence is married, talking about Spence's wife. What's up with that? Ryan versus Spence? A few people are talking about it. Spence is done, man. Ryan versus Conor? I don't know, a lot happening this season. The British Boxing Board of Control just announced that Conor's suspension has been reimposed. So last July, the National Anti-Doping Panel lifted Conor's suspension imposed by the British Boxing Board of Control and UCAD. Conor thought he was good to go. The British Boxing Board of Control and UCAD appealed it. They won the appeal in March. And now they're basically putting the suspension back in place. But according to Conor Benn, if you look in the small print in one of them articles, he's saying that the suspension will be lifted in September. So what's that, 3 to 4 months? He's not allowed to spar. He's not allowed to assist any boxers in any way during the suspension. But he probably just needs to sit tight, you know, work out, train, probably not take no fights in America, although he's free to do so. Now, he said September. I didn't see any receipt apart from that. He said September. But the way this case has gone so far, I have to wonder if it would be so simple. They're definitely making an example of him.
EUBANK, and this is almost to his credit, he is a massive name, right? The fact he can fight Liam Smith on a pay-per-view, it's not Liam Smith, it's not a world title, it's because it's EUBANK. Yeah? He has back-to-back pay-per-views with Liam Smith. That's him picking, oh, I'm not going for a world title for less money, I'll go for the money. And he's sitting around waiting for a Conor Benn fight.
This Conor Benn news came out Friday. It's Saturday evening now. And no one from Matchroom has commented on the reimposed suspension. And that's because if Conor is correct, just got to wait it out until September. And that's what Chris is waiting for. That's why Chris hasn't fought since the Liam Smith fight. Chris is a mercenary. Yeah? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. He's not holding nobody up. He hasn't got a belt like Jamal Charlo that he's not defending. He's entitled to sit out and wait for his cha-ching fight and cash in. He's not going to sign with Boxer. I can't guarantee that, but I'm pretty sure he's not going to sign with Boxer. I think he has a relationship with Frank Smith. I've told you guys already, Frank Smith is shacked up with Chris Eubanks' sister. He probably has a good relationship with Frank, and he could negotiate the Conor Benn fight without the Salons getting a piece of the action. Now, after the fight fell through in 2022, they tried to pick it up again after Chris avenged his loss to Liam Smith, 2023. Why did that fall through? Some people were saying it's because Chris didn't want to upset the British Boxing Board of Control and lose his license. Eddie Hearn was laughing his head off, and so were a lot of people. Chris doesn't care about that. Chris cares about the money. Chris is a mercenary. He doesn't care about that. His dad talks all about that. The British Boxing Board are controlling the rules and the rules. You know what I mean? His dad cares about that, or talks about that anyway. That's why he calls his son a bling boy. They're trying to make my son a bling boy. Junior's all about the money. That's why Senior says that about Junior. But Chris wanted the dough. Chris was asking for extortionate amounts of money that he knew he wasn't going to get. But he said, what the heck? Why not? He said, you either pay me that, or I'll wait until my contract is out with Cali and Nice, and then we could negotiate the fight. And that's what he's doing. When he turned down the Johnny Beck fight, which was for 2 titles, I thought at first, Chris don't want the smoke. But looking at Chris's career, Chris is not scared of Johnny Beck. I'm not saying he beats Johnny Beck, but he's not scared of him. It's just not paying him enough to get motivated.
It's simple mathematics.
Now, Inoue,
Do you think he needs to go to the States? Would you think about bringing him to LA or Vegas?
Again, he's a tremendous attraction in Japan. They get huge gates, so I don't see any reason why Inoue would want to leave Japan to come to the United States or any place else.
It's simple mathematics.
Just the other day, when I uploaded, I asked, when is someone going to ask Bob the question that people feel they need answering? Why Inoue isn't fighting in America? Not really much to this discussion. I don't even know why it's a discussion. If America can pay Inoue more, you can't just match what he makes in Japan. You got to pay him more than the 3.8 he made for fighting Luis Neri. And you've certainly got to pay him more than the 10 million that's proposed to be on the table when he fights on the undercard of when Joshua returns in September at Wembley. Come up with the readies, I'm sure you'll see Inoue over there. You know what I mean?
It's simple mathematics.
And with that,
I'm gone. Ghost, peace, sayonara.